I think that there are, when you have an entirely new field, like social media or something like that, there's going to be a lot of experimentation. There'll be a lot of mistakes made. There'll be a lot of things where you're going to learning by doing. What I've found in general is a company has to have some hazy, if not clearer, has to have at least some understanding about how they're going to deliver something unique at the end of the day that kind of guides them through this process of experimentation. That very few companies, certainly in more emergent fields, figure out a strategy on day one. They don't quite they don't know how the story is ultimately going to play out, but they have this insight, that there's something that we're going to do that we can't find anybody else doing, and if we can figure out how to do that really, really well and keep learning how to do it well and keep fine-tuning and adjusting and improving, then at the end of the day we'll actually deliver something different. I think that's the nature of the problem. So I don't want to make it. So I think in a sense, you can't have a rigid idea of strategy that's something that you do up front and then you slavishly implement it. That's not the way it works. I mean, Henry Mintzberg's work, had this emergent strategy notion. There was a important grain of truth there, that there is a continuous learning process, both because you didn't figure it out and because things change. That said, at the end of the day, what makes a company distinctive is some trade-offs or choices it chooses to make, often maybe intuitively. Another thing I say is strategy is ultimately you got to place a bet. You just can't hedge against all potential futures, because if you do, you'll never ultimately be truly successful. So that's uncomfortable. So for those that don't want to make a bet and that just want to hedge, I think their highest and best purpose will be mediocrity, maybe, and survival. But those that want to create truly enduring value for customers and truly unique companies, I think ultimately are the people who have that sense of what they want to do.